folks, we are back with Coach Treiston. I have to make sure I get that right because his mom won't get mad at me otherwise. All right. Again, you were coaching over at Barton, and you said that program had started out.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're starting here is new because, as I mentioned, there have been folks in this community who wanted to have middle school, high school for decades.
Yep.
Coach Hall, who's former coach over at Northwoods, that's a constant complaint from him. I know he's went before the school board, and so you're offering this alternative. Hey, let's do it with the rec league. So, where are you in the process? I know you put some information out there. Some people haven't seen it, so they're not fully aware of what is your plan, where you at, and what are you hoping to get going, and when do you hope to actually start playing?
So right now we actually have signups open.
Oh, you do? Okay.
And so for the age group of 13 to 14, that's basically 8th graders. And I had 13 and 14. I had 14 last year. And the biggest problem you run into that is there's a lot of different places that have middle school football, and some of them do have middle school football, but a lot of the middle school kids don't play in the travel league. They just play for the middle school team.
Right.
And so sometimes the environment get kind of shaky. You know, you got people coaching that you tell they have a background check. You know what I mean? And so you never know what you were going to get from a game day experience or from a coaching experience, from a structure standpoint. Like, this needs to be set up the right way, because some of the stuff you're doing before the game, this is not allowed on a high school football field, college football field, anywhere. You're already ejected, you know. So that was something big for me. But I actually talked to Miss, I think it's Miss Chancellor Parker, if I'm not mistaken, and please forgive me if I said the wrong name. She's over the East Chatham Chargers.
Okay.
And I actually spoke to her about it, and they're already in the Wake County League. And this is last year they're going to be in that, but they actually have bye weeks because it's hard to fill a schedule. You know what I mean? So I'm pretty sure that I'm going to get them on our schedule for at least 2 games this year.
How many games are you hoping to have?
Honestly, if we, based off what they normally have, which is, we had it last year. I think we played 6 games.
Okay.
But it was kind of, it was hit or miss, you know. It was hit or miss based off of, all right, all of a sudden this team doesn't have enough people, you know, and it was just, it wasn't structured the right way. My big thing is, I don't care about us going all the way to Florida. I don't care about us going all the way across the state. If we can just use the teams in Chatham County, because that's really who we're worrying about. I think I did some research, and I talked to Coach Snow the day before yesterday. He used to coach at West Forsyth. He even said there's only 2 counties in the state of North Carolina that don't have middle school football. It's Forsyth County and Chatham County. Forsyth doesn't have a problem because there's so many people there.
Right.
They have so many different teams outside of the rec league that they don't need to have one. Our situation is different. If we really want the best for our kids, why are we not having it? You know, I reached out and tried to get some stuff going when I first got here, and it didn't work. You know, and there's no need to sit around and complain about it. What's the next thing we can do to try to have it? So I had 14U last year, and before I started with this, Don Dones, he had the league going outside of the rec department, and so I was blessed enough for him to just let me basically take all that and turn it over to the rec, and we've had some substantial numbers in the past year. So where I am now, I talked to East Chatham, because right now on their team, it's kids that would be in the C4 area and in the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're kind of behind the 8 ball as far as structuring it from that standpoint. Because
You wanted to do 4.
if we can have 4 teams, it would be, so basically Silcote Middle School, Chatham Middle School, and Chatham Charter. If you're in that area, that's JM. But Chatham Charter, you know, it's a charter school that goes all the way to high school, but they don't have football. And then let's talk about Barnley. You got Barnley, Bennett, and then what is J.S. Waters? That's in Goshen.
Yep.
That's 2 teams. And then Northwood, however they were split up between them and C4, that's 2 more teams. You got 4 teams. But if it's not feasible from that standpoint, you only have 3 teams. Everybody plays each other twice. That's a pretty good season.
Yeah.
You know, that's a pretty good season. So just giving them that opportunity. Now what's happening is there's more ties to the high school they would go to. It's more structured from that standpoint. I walk around Chatham all day, and it's an influx of 8th graders, big 8th graders walking around in there.
Bigger than you?
Yes, and
Okay.
the thing about it is they don't have It's not middle school football.
Right.
And it's baseball season, so what are they doing? What are they doing? Absolutely nothing. You know what I mean? Getting in trouble just from being bored and being a boy. You know what I mean? That doesn't make them a bad kid. It's just everybody wants to know why this, why that. Come on. You don't have a coach walking around in the building. And when they see him coming, they automatically just gonna straighten up. You know? So that's the thing we're missing out on right now because, yeah, it's a baseball team out there, but it's a whole different demographic of kids that's getting left out that don't play baseball.
So does the whole school know that you're in the school once you step in there?
Yeah, but I'm coming from a nice standpoint.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Now when the kids get in trouble, they'll call me. You know, but I just try to be visible because if they only see me as a coach, and that's all I'm showing up for is the coaching, and I'm not showing up to support all the little stuff they're doing, then that's just like me being a halfway father.
Yeah, well, shoot, I've seen you at JM games. I've seen, you're out there. You're talking to coaches. You're talking to kids.
Yeah.
The thing I like about your idea is because my kids played rec league, baseball, and soccer was the fact that you got to play everybody in the county. And the neat thing is, there's places in the county that if you didn't play rec league, you probably wouldn't go there on a regular occasion. And it's nice to see those parents, even years after your kids are out of rec league.
Yep.
So
it's
kind of brings a community
together.
together.
And it's a need because just like with wrestling, I mean, just like with football, it's wrestling.
Yeah, talk about that because you're involved with that some too.
Yeah, I'm involved with wrestling a lot. We actually have a team right now through the rec league. We had 40 plus kids that wrestled, and the big thing about it is, I mean, you can say the same thing for volleyball as well. Make sure I say that Miss McManus, I wanted you to know I said volleyball. That's one of my. I graduated with her daughter, so that's one.
Oh, did you? All right.
And Dr. McManus did a whole lot for me through high school, so I definitely value everybody's opinion. But any of these sports, we're not setting out. If kids want to be the best, we should have it set up for them. And just sending them to high school, and then blaming the coach in high school for the kids not being successful when they get there, you're setting the high school coaches up for failure, along with the kids. Because a lot of these kids walking around now, I had kids say to me, you didn't play varsity your freshman year. I already got some varsity snaps. What am I supposed to say? You know what I mean? What am I going to say? I'm not going to burst your bubble and say, bro, come on, man. Come on. I'm not going to do that. But what I will say is, you need to be on JV right now. You playing on varsity right now. I doubt you're going to come back next year because you out here just trying to survive. You know what I mean? You haven't lifted long enough. You haven't played at all. We're setting you up for failure.
That happened in one of the high schools last year where you had a whole bunch of injuries happen.
Yeah.
So,
kids they're not strong enough for work. Now you have your outliers. You have certain kids that show up ready. You know what I mean? But a lot goes into play with that. What's the standard in your household? Do your parents have you working out? Do you have a trainer? You know, just kind of getting everybody in the community on board with that. That's the biggest thing.
We touched on this before we started recording. Coaching. How are you going about recruiting, coaching? And then the other thing you had mentioned earlier on in our first segment, you mentioned that in some leagues, you kind of look at some of the coaches and go, how did you end up being the coach? So what are you looking for in coaches, and how are you recruiting coaches? And if somebody wants to coach, what do they need to do?
You can follow Solid City Parks and Recreation on Facebook, and basically you can send a message straight to us on that. Other than that, most people in Solid City have my cell phone number, and you can reach out to me on that way as well. But just reach out to Solid City Parks and Recreation, and we can get you involved. And the biggest thing for us is, since we work for the town, you got to pass the background check. That's step one. If you don't pass that, you can't coach. You know, and so that eliminates some of the nonsense. Now, do we miss out on people that could coach? Yes. All right, yes, we definitely do, because you might have made a mistake 20, 30 years ago. And the man you were 20, 30 years ago isn't the same person you are today. Just because you made that one mistake doesn't mean that you're a bad person. You know what I mean? So that's the negative to it. But even if you have never coached at all, I'm not perfect. I don't know everything, but I can help. I can help you coach. You know, so this year coming up, I have every single practice structured out, first 16 practices. Every drill, every team we run, our whole offense, everything is in the huddle. We got camera systems, we have everything. So if you want to coach, you can definitely come on board. And that's male or female, because I know a lot of female coaches that coach football. I know quite a few.
Who's going to ref the games?
They use a service.
Okay.
All right, so this is the first time that I won't have to go out and find my own refs to actually use the service. They have their own booking agent, basically, and you basically have to pay up front with the league we're in now. But referee-wise, it's a whole lot of people in Chatham County that ref. It's a whole lot. So I have my own officials plus the league that my 12U team is in. They have their own as well. So that's been one of the biggest things I've done since I've gotten here is put together a group of referees and umpires that we could actually use. You know, so because a lot of things are whatever league you're in, you have to use these referees. You know, and now I have a pool of them. It's just how will we sanction ourselves, which is all up to us. You know, we don't need to be AU or AYF. You know, you can just go independent and be perfectly fine. And so my 12U league is actually in 12U, 10U, and 8U. We're in the Alamance County League. And so that 13-14 league, we can make up a name for it, and boom, we're good to go.
Let me ask you about reffing, because I've noticed this both in middle school and again, not middle school football here in the county, but baseball, and even in the first couple of games in high school football. The refs aren't just reffing, they're also teaching the kids about proper procedures and giving them guidance as to how to play the game better. So is that are you seeing that also from your refs?
You're seeing it a lot, and when you have your own league, you can structure certain things to be non-negotiables as well. And so I just don't need you throwing plays. I need you to talk somebody through it, as well as what's going to be the standard on how we let our kids talk to the referees.
Okay, so you're not, one of your non-negotiables is how the kids talk to the referees?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you're not a grown-up, so if you're asking what took place, cool. But other than that, let the coaches talk to the referees.
Right. What are you gonna do about the moms in the stands who are yelling the loudest?
Tell them to yell even louder. We need that support. As long as you're not negative. Because one thing I will say, our parents are on board in Solid City. I'm so proud of how my whole city is kind of joined in, just especially because football basically starts the year off of sports for the school year. And when I came in, this video is online, it was overwhelming the amount of support that we were able to receive. And the big thing for me was just day one showing them how this is not just about the kids on the field. You're involved as well. So every time I blow the whistle in the stretch lines, everybody's supposed to clap. Or if you see your kid not clapping, call them out. Call them out. Don't just put it on the coach. There's 1,000 kids out here right now, so we're gonna miss some stuff sometimes. But what's the rules? Everybody should clap whenever we blow the whistle. First time I blew the whistle, half the kids clap, half of them forgot already. Take them back. You can start hearing some parents talking to their own kid, yelling at them. Not in a bad way, but come on, pay attention. All right, next thing you know, I blew the whistle, all the kids clap. Guess who didn't clap?
The mom.
The parents.
Oh, the parents.
I called them all out. I said, we all on the same team, so if we're gonna be successful, it's not just about the kids clapping, you all have to clap as well.
So it's gonna be the same in this middle school rec league conference then?
I can speak on Solid City.
Oh, Siler City. All right, so folks in Siler City, just remember, you gotta clap, because if you're not, coach is give you that evil eye.
Nah.
I asked you about your, some of the responses you got from players that have played for you. Let me ask you this. What are some of the responses you've gotten? Again, we don't want to name specific folks. What are some of the responses that you've gotten from parents here in the Siler City area? But what you're doing, not just with the football, but with the wrestling and the basketball and everything else from a rec league perspective.
Overall, it's been amazing. It's been amazing because if it wasn't for the parents, we wouldn't have kids. And the parents tell you, I ask for a lot. You know what I mean? I ask for a lot. I want the most. I want our kids to experience something that I was able to experience when I came through as a kid. And growing up playing parks and recreation ball, I'll be honest with you, that was the most fun I ever had doing anything. And just these parents we have in Solid City, it's been a whole lot of love, just to be honest with you.
Well, I think part of it's because they feel your passion.
Yeah.
Because I think the reason I want to talk to you is because I saw what you put out on social media. I'm like, you know what? That's the potential to be successful. Because I know they've tried it through the schools and they tried it when you first came here, and that may not be the way to work. But if you get this thing rolling, there's nothing to say that it eventually can't happen to go through the schools.
Because even from a selfish standpoint, my son going to the 6th grade, he'll be going to the 7th grade next year. There's no middle school football. And that's my oldest son. And so just for him, I can't drop the ball as a father for him. I'm the one, I got the keys to the ship, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I got to make it work, not just for him, for all the kids, because I know what can happen if you sit out for a year. I know what can happen. And not just for football, wrestling, volleyball, we have the resources to do it. We have the resources to do it. And I know there's high school coaches out here, and there's people in the community that help raise money for equipment, you know what I mean? Now, here, I got enough equipment for middle school.
So you can have like sponsorships?
Yes, we want anybody that's willing to help, we need you.
All right. If you don't have a cell phone number, just get onto the Siler City, Facebook page or website?
Siler City Parks and Recreation Facebook page.
There you go. Get on there and say, hey, I want to contribute to this effort. Because I'm a believer in the Scrum method. People can say, I could have done it, I should have done it, I wouldn't have done it, but they don't do it, and you're doing it. So you got to help support the coach here. You got injured in college too, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Best thing to happen to me.
Why is that?
I was turning into somebody that I wasn't proud of, just because I was lost. You know what I mean? I was lost. I came from South City. You riding this wave of your high horse about how good you were, and all of a sudden you get to college, everybody's good. And not only is everybody good, the worst feeling in the world is knowing that you're better than people, but you don't know how to play. And when I say don't know how to play, I remember I went to the first meeting my sophomore year for football practice. They started talking about pass protection, and then they started talking about recognizing different fronts. You got this guy, signify him as Mike, but then if you got this front, it's gonna be totally different. Now, what happens if they slant? Now this changed, blah blah blah. All of a sudden, I don't forgot what the play's called. You know what I mean? So athletically, I was good, but it's a bad feeling when mentally you're not set up for success when you get there. And that's not me blaming any of my coaches or this or that. That's some stuff that I could have did better. But from a coaching standpoint, when the kids from my team show up, we like those toys that you get that says no assembly required. You know what I mean? Because we have them ready. They need to be ready when they get there. That way, they know how to play. So all they need to do is retain information. You know what I mean? They know how to move their bodies. Because when I first got here, we started a jump start program, and that was me personally training all of them on speed, agility, how to run, how to change direction, because that's the first need that I saw. And that was the first opportunity it gave parents to see me coach. And I don't think I'm the best coach in the world, but I know a little bit, you know what I mean? Especially from speed, agility, and all of this and that, just how to properly move your body is huge.
Yeah, I think that's an important part, because I remember, was it back when we did a print paper of the Chatham Journal, there was a cartoon that Eric Andrews did. He was the assistant coach over at Northwood for a while. And it's a cartoon of Coach Hall holding a football and going to the players, this is a football.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what you're trying to do, is you're trying to get it to where that's no longer a question of what's a football, it's all the other stuff that you want to do. So you want to set the foundation.
Yes. It's a bad feeling, especially, I mean, now, you know, when you're older, when you think of something in your head that you want to do, and then your body doesn't react the right way, it's a horrible feeling when you're a kid, when you know what you want to do. I want to run here and cut through here, but my body isn't physically capable to do it. I'm big on being able to move your body the right way.